This is Lorenzo, and this is the Training Map Taxonomy video series, lesson number 11. It's on the 7th dimensional skill, helping you develop pulling strength in the vertical vector. Okay, welcome to part 2 of our 4-part pull press vector series. As we see on the left of our matrix, we have our dimensional skill, which dimension, vertical vector, which domain, the pulling domain, and which skill. We are focused on vertical vector, climbing strength. The highest expression of this dimension is climbing strength. Can you climb your body weight? The muscle groups involved in the vertical vector, as you probably already know, is on the back, specifically focus on lat and bicep development. To the right of our matrix, we have our modality benchmarks. Again, what's a modality? It's going to be gymnastics, weightlifting, or metabolic conditioning. And benchmarks, what are the performance targets or goals that we're looking at? For this dimension, we're going to be exploring 3 specific gymnastics performance targets. We will then move to the adaptive capacities column in our matrix, asking the question, what are the exact requirements, as well as the benefits associated with working towards and achieving those fitness goals. So for our first and the 20th benchmark in the series, we have the 360 pull. It's a benchmark of dynamic straight arm stability, which we'll see in a moment. For the 21st benchmark, we have the pull-up, a benchmark of strength. And finally, we have the muscle-up, also a benchmark of strength. Now, are there more than 3 benchmarks that one could aim for in the vertical vector dimension? Of course, but these are the 3 that I've selected that I believe are going to be the most useful to most people in most cases, according to very specific criteria. Now, while I do cover this in more detail in my benchmark video in the training design taxonomy video series, I think it's worthwhile quickly discussing the criteria so you know why I've selected these 30 benchmarks. And by the way, even these 30 benchmarks can be reduced to the top 10, which I believe if you achieve the 30 benchmarks or even the top 10, you'll be in the 1% in the world of physical capacity. The first criteria I have is that, is it universal? Does it apply to most people in most situations, most of the time? So you have to look at age, sex, culture, things like that. Second, is it measurable? Remember, all performance targets can be measured in terms of time, position, and load. Number 3, is it comprehensive? I want to look at the total available set of possible goals to ensure that I'm not missing anything. And then from that list, I want to make sure, and this brings us to number 4, is it exclusive? So collectively exhaustive and mutually exclusive. I want to then reduce it to the fewest number of items that will have the most predictive power. Lastly, and my 5th criterion that I use in all my benchmark analysis, is it practical? Is it memorable? Is it easy to use? So you'll actually notice that in all the targets that I've set in each of these benchmarks, I've used multiples of 3 in a way that is consistent and that makes sense. In fact, if you want to have a bird's eye view of all the 30 benchmarks discussed in this video series, make sure you download the 3-page PDF that goes along with this taxonomy video series. Okay, so back to our benchmarks. For the 20th performance target in our series, we have the 360 pull, as you can see all the way over here. And as the name suggests, you are pulling with straight arms 360 degrees. As you can see, he's pulling all the way into a back lever, moving into a front lever, and then back again. He does a front pull into a back lever, and then does a back pull, and so on and so forth. So it actually requires a front lever, a back lever, a front pull, which is the dynamic version, and a back pull. The 360 pull, in my opinion, is the highest expression of dynamic straight arm stability. It's also the only benchmark here that is not technically in the vertical vector, it's a multi-vector benchmark. It's also a benchmark of position, not of load, nor time. Either you can do the movement or you can't. Once you can, you're encouraged to do 3 consecutive reps to demonstrate competence as a male. And for the girls, 1 clean rep is sufficient. Next, and for our 21st benchmark in the series, we have the classic pull-up. As we can see over here, the pull-up is a benchmark of strength and also position. Can you do the pull-up according to the highest biomechanical standards? Yes or no? Once you can, you're encouraged to work towards a certain number. In this case, if you're a guy, you're working towards 18 reps. And for the girls, you're working towards 9 reps. Now, if you're thinking, Lorenzo, I can't even imagine doing 1 pull-up, let alone 9 as a female, just for some encouragement, this here is my mom. And on this day, she achieved a maximum of 3. And while it may not be according to the highest biomechanical standards, 3 pull-ups for a 60-year-old female is not only very impressive, but in less than a year, I bet you that she will be at 9. For our third and final, and the 22nd benchmark in the series, we have the muscle up, as we can see over here, demonstrated on both the rings as well as the bar. The muscle up is a benchmark of position. Either you can do it or you can't. And once you can do it, you're aiming to do at least 3 consecutive high quality reps in a row to demonstrate competence for the guys. And for the girls, again, 1 clean high quality rep is expected. As I pointed out before, if this is our objective, then we need a strategy. Strategy is nothing but identifying and implementing the fewest or the minimum proximal causes that lead to the desired effect. So in the case of vertical vector climbing strength, our strategy is, and the minimum physical requirements to achieve the desired effect are shoulder and wrist mobility. Shoulder, as we can see here, and wrist mobility, as we can see here in the muscle up. The limiting factor to the muscle up, especially to make a efficient transition, is the false grip, which requires a great degree of flexibility and strength in the wrist. We also need scapular stability. So as we can see in this image here, where I'm doing the pull-up, notice how I first pull down or depress my scapula, and then I pull up using strength of the shoulders and elbows, which is our third criteria, developing mobile, stable, dynamic shoulder, elbow strength. And so here we have our goals. This is the strategy or the minimum requirements to reach our goals. The tactics then are the exact exercises or the equipment we use to implement or fulfill the strategy. Lastly, why should we care about vertical vector climbing strength? Well, first of all, if you want to be able to climb your body weight, maybe to save your own life, that would be pretty cool. That's a reason to do it. But if not, you want to treat it as upper limb prehab to help you reduce pain. It will translate into more efficient overhead extension forces. So it will translate to many other movements, greater injury resistance, more effortless activities of daily pulling, transferability to other core and pulling exercises for more complete back and bicep development. As you see here, look no further than the pull-up. And if you want to become a better climber, fighter, or swimmer, whether you're an athlete or not, then you cannot skip vertical vector climbing strength pull-up day.